everyone, it's Chef from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today's day 11 in the 2025 Countdown to Christmas series with Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations. Our technique for today is interactive card, and we're going to be creating this bay window card, and I'll show you how it's interactive. So I took 2 pieces of cardstock measuring 5 by 7, and I scored at 1/2 inch from either side. And then you'll see I'm going to do 5.5 inch scores on this side, and then I'm going to turn it around again and score at 5.5 inches from that side. It was a little bit easier than trying to score on the left-hand side. So I'm going to take that piece of cardstock and put it into my stamp wheel and use a salvaged brick stencil from MFT. I'm sorry, this one is from Honeybee. This was from their house add-on sets. And we're going to be using some aged mahogany with this. So these bricks are not perfect. I do have another one like this, and I wish I had, with bigger bricks, and I wish I had used that for the outside because I wanted to use this for the fireplace on the inside. But, you know, if I did it over again, I would do that. And I also would score after I go ahead and ink this up, do the stenciling piece. But like you said, you live and you learn. The stencil is too small for this, so I do have to put it down again and stencil the other side. I am going to mark off the right hand of the paper, or the bottom of this paper, to prevent myself from going over the edge with the Distress Oxide. This is like I said, aged mahogany Distress Oxide, and I think it came out really good. I varied the pressure so you can see, so it kind of looks like older brick that, you know, was faded a little bit. I didn't want it to be exactly the same color throughout the whole thing. So then I took a square die and I cut out the window so that you're going to be able to see into the house. And here are a bunch of dies from Honeybee stamps that I'm using. One of them is from the Front Porch Add-on, the Christmas set. The other one is from the Fireplace and the Fireplace Add-on set. And then the other one, the Market Cart, that's it, the Market Cart Christmas Add-ons. So these are just a ton of dies that I have that are in my Christmas bin, and I thought that I would create a cute little scene in here with the Christmas tree. I did cut out some trees on the front because I thought that I was actually going to use them on the side windows. So, and then I cut out one of the scrap pieces from the 5 by 7 cuts was this piece here that we're going to make into a door, and I'm actually going to cut down some of the leftover from the other piece and make the panels like the insets of the door. So this is going to be the steps. This is another little piece that I used from scraps and cut that off. I'm just cutting off both sides because we're going to angle the cuts. I was trying to figure out how to make the steps look dimensional and not just like a piece of cardstock that was on the bottom of it. So what I'm going to do is actually score that piece with my scoreboard, and then I'm going to color it with some Distress Oxides. But right here I'm showing you some of the stamp sets that I use. So here they're all from Honeybee, and I wanted some garland and stockings for the fireplace. I wanted to dress it up and make it look as full as possible. So here I am lining up that step piece in my scoreboard, and I'm going over the steps with Lost Shadow. So this is a very, very light color gray of Distress Oxide. You almost really couldn't even tell. Like, you can see it a little bit in the video, but you almost couldn't even tell that I put anything on there. Then I went around the edges with some hickory smoke, but then I made sure that that crease that I put in there got a really, really good coating of the hickory smoke, and then I went over it again with my Lost Shadow brush to kind of smooth out the edges. So now you're going to see me ink up parts of the fireplace. So the very bottom piece of the fireplace, we're going to go ahead and make that a little bit darker. And then where the mantle will sit on top of the actual fireplace, because we're going to create that. We're going to do a faux wood look, which I did for a couple pieces, and I absolutely love the way that it turned out. But now I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of shadow. But when I add things on, you're really not going to be able to see it, but it's okay. So now we're going to do this faux wood technique. So these are the 2 colors of Hero Hues that I have, and I'm just running them over. And because, don't put too heavy of pressure on it, but when you lift things up, it gives it some streaks and it gives it almost a wood-like texture. So again, that's just with plain cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and do that with the bottoms of these plants for the pots, and I did it for the mantle, and then I did it for the trunk of the tree inside. Now I'm taking a couple colors of Copic markers and just adding some flicks to the trees. They're going to look like a hot mess at first, and then they all do come together. As I was doing this, I was freaking out because I'm like, I'm ruining these, but they turned out to have a lot of dimension to them, and I absolutely love it. This card took so long to create, probably took me about 3 hours, and I know this is a lot longer than my last couple of videos have been, but I just needed some time to de-stress. I worked basically almost all weekend, and I really just needed some time to get down in the craft room and get some stuff done, and I just wanted to sit there. And once I started creating, I had all of these ideas for things that I could add, and so I went ahead and just created. So while you're watching me do this to the tree, and then I also do this to the garland, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about this series. So if you are new, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you for coming back. Marie and I pick 25 different themes, techniques, color schemes, etc. at the beginning of, I think we usually start the beginning of September, and then we put it into a randomizer and drop videos every Monday and Friday at 2 o'clock. So we have 2 completely different styles of crafting. So where I am strong, that's usually cards that she does not like creating, and where she is very strong, those are usually the cards that I am not a big fan of creating. So we really challenge each other, and at the end of this series, we've been doing this for 3 years, you will have 75 different themes, techniques, color schemes, etc., because we have not repeated anything in the past 3 years. And 175 videos, because we've each done a video for all of the, 150 videos for 75 themes. I can't do math. Sorry, guys. My brain is a little rattled right now. It has been, like I said, it's been crazy with schoolwork and work. So that's kind of the thing. I will leave the link to Marie's channel in the more information section. I will also leave a link to the intro video for this series. I know Marie is doing a giveaway. I potentially am. I probably will if I get to another milestone. So subscribe, like, comment for chances to win on her channel, and most likely chance to win on mine. I will decide by next week if I'm going to go ahead and do something. So back to the card, we're now getting into the assembly of it, and I'm using my Bearly Arts glue to attach things together. So we are putting that bottom on, and then we are putting the mantle on top of that. And then I also did that wood technique for the logs too. I didn't have the logs cut out at first, the logs and then the fire. So that was added at the end, and then I used some Distress Oxide in Fossilized Amber, and then whatever I had left on my little orange blender brush, the one that is the detail brush, I used that to kind of add a little bit of orange to the flames. So really, a lot of this is just kind of me putting the whole entire card together. This one is definitely one that you could not mass produce unless you have so much time, but it really did. This is one that you could do for someone special. I believe I told you that Sam Calcott I think Calcott is her last name, is the one that I got this idea for. I will also leave the link to her video in it because she has some different dimensions in there, and she actually has a couple different ideas for cards on her channel for this one. I have used her channel for lots of inspiration for things. She always has very intricate and interesting interactive cards on her channel. So if that is your thing, which it is mine, you want to head over and check hers out. So I will leave that linked below in the more information section as well. So I did cut down 2 pieces of white cardstock to 5x7, but I wanted to have some wallpaper in the background, and I couldn't find a stencil that I really liked. So I found this paper because I wasn't really sure what color I wanted to do it. I tried some reds and I tried some greens, and I didn't love that. But then the blue of the door, I thought I would bring some of the blue in, but not that exact same color. I'm just trying to figure out how this is all going to go. What you need is something that will be a stopper, kind of like an easel card. You need to pop something up on foam dots. So I thought that putting foam tape behind the door on just the right-hand side of the door would be what I would need, but I end up doing something else in the long run. I do have to tell you that I did change the color of the door a little bit. These doors, because it was a long skinny door, this reminded me of the doors that are in Philadelphia. When I was I think I was a senior in college, I had to take an art history class, and we did go down into Center City, down into the cobblestone streets, and there are a ton of blue doors like this, and I wanted that blue, but the prized ribbon was not the correct color, so I went back over it with some chipped sapphire, and it really, really made a difference. I love the way that it looks. I had these leftover dots in my stash, so I thought that I would add them to the tree to kind of make it look like little ornaments inside. And then I found this piece of scrap cardstock. I was trying to look for wood dies that would do the background or do the floor, and I thought maybe I would actually do the same technique that I did with the trees and the logs, but I found this piece of cardstock and I decided, nope, I'm going to go ahead and cut that down, and I believe I did 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm using ATG for the very left-hand side. So on that 1/2 inch score mark that we did, that's the only place that I'm putting tape. So you can see here, this is where I know that I have to put foam tape on the right side of the door, because that will be what keeps it propped up, so you can actually slip that 1/2 inch score mark on the right-hand side underneath the door so that it will pop itself up and stand up. The next thing that we're going to do is cut a piece of scrap acetate down. It's actually packaging from something that I was throwing away. I'm actually going through all of my stamps and die sets and putting them in stamp pockets, so I have a bunch of extra. I'm going to glue that little black frame that we created. It's like a 1/16 of an inch, something like that. It's very, very small. I'm going to glue the acetate to that, cut the acetate around from the outside, and then we are going to glue it down to the opening because I wanted to make it look like there was glass in that window. In the card that Sam shows, there's actually windows in the center and then on both sides, but I decided those windows would be really small, and I just wanted the really big window in the middle so that you could see right into this living room scene. So I'm going to go ahead and add the foam tape to the right-hand side of the door, and then you can see it pops up, but it's a little bit more, like, it's not as popped up on the right side as it is on the left side. So I was trying to figure out how to make it a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and attach that door down after we take off the foam tape. You can just see me playing around with it here. Do I have to refold it? Because we have so much middle room, I think that I probably should have made the door a little bit wider, but again, I just used some scrap cardstock that was left over from the 5x7 cuts, and it does end up working out in the long run. But if I was to do this again, I would definitely make the door a little bit wider. So you're going to see me playing around with it here. I'm eventually going to take one of those potted plants and glue it down to the left-hand side of the door. So now we're going to create the scene inside. I wanted the fireplace to sit on top of where the floor was, but I wanted to make sure that there was enough room so that you could see part of the fireplace. I also wanted to make sure that you could see the tree through it, and I felt like the place that I had it in wasn't really good enough. I wanted to put it in front of the fireplace, but I decided to go ahead and pop it up on foam tape. So this does take a little while because I go ahead and cut out a lot of little pieces for this since the tree is very, very skinny in spots. It was a little bit more difficult. I did have to cut the strips down, and then we're going to go ahead and pop that up. I did also cut out a base for the tree, and that one came from the Market Cart add-on. So we can see that the tree or the card is able to be popped up, but I don't have the trees on, so I thought that I would just add that in there, and that little bit of extra room, that little extension on the left hand side, actually makes the card stand up a little bit better. So I'm just going to glue the right hand side of that tree down. Now I did actually put the other tree on the other side of it for a little bit, and I think I left that in. I was hesitant about putting a second tree on there because it makes the steps look really small, but I think I really like it. So I think when I go back, if I go back, I have that tree still. I think I probably will add it to the right side. I'll have to make a larger envelope. The good thing about this is it actually does, when you take it down, when you actually fold it down, it folds down to a 5x7. There is a little bit of bulk in it, so you would have to do like a padded envelope, or I would hand deliver it. But yeah, that I think I might put that tree back on. So this is, I cut out 2 strings of lights, I glued them together, and then I found these little crystal gems that I've had in my stash forever and added them onto the end as lights. So I thought that would look really cute. At first I had cut out 2 strings because I was going to put them on the front of the house, but then I thought I like it inside, and to put those gems on, it had to be a little bit sturdier. So you're going to see me struggle here for a little bit because it just didn't want to attach to the acetate. It wasn't dry enough yet, so I do struggle with this a little bit. And reverse tweezers are not something that I normally use, so I was having a little struggle with those too as well. So you can see now I tucked that behind the tree and the card will stand up. So I was trying to figure out what else it needed. I felt like it needed a little sign. So this sign is part of the Market Cart add-on. It's actually on a post, so I cut the rest of that off. I just wanted the little plaque part. And then I stamped out Merry Christmas from a Lawn Fawn stamp set. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that down to the front. Above the fireplace. And that is the card for today. So this one was so fun. This was the interactive card. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure you check out Marie's video and Sam's video, and I will see you again real soon for another video. Bye.